Muse. I'm sorry. It's been such a long time. But you'll have to forgive me, because I was on vacation last week, and, well, my vacation and my wife took precedence over having a discussion with you. And I hope you understand. I'm sure you do. You were there. You were. I felt your presence. How did I feel your presence? Because I was writing. And you gave me some great ideas on the story that I'm about to finish. Yay! I want to talk to you about something today that at first blush might not have anything to do with you. But it does. And hopefully you'll understand why it has something to do with you in a moment when I actually get to talking about it. Which is now, actually. A long time ago, in a galaxy not so far, far away, I remember hearing a writer say to a crowd of people that it was very important to find your audience. And at that time, that bit of information, that bit of advice was an eye-opener. It was huge. Because none of us had really bothered to think about that. We were just writing whatever, hoping that it would sell. And then out of nowhere, tons of writers were in a desperate search for their audience. And people, I can't even begin to tell you the varied and sundry ways that people attempted to find their audience. People were scouring forums and news groups and Facebook groups and hashtags on Twitter and everything we could possibly come up with to figure out a way to find our audience. And then somewhere along the way, that failed us. But then somewhere along the way, pretty much everything failed us. So we continued on. We went about attempting desperately to scrabble together our audience and write for them. And then eventually, that crashed and burned. Now, I'm not saying that writers need to just completely give up on finding their audience, because that is a crucial part of what we do. But the problem came when writers out there stopped writing for themselves and started writing for an audience, real or imaginative. And then that led to writing to fads. Not fads necessarily, but the genre or subgenre du jour. So when Twilight came out and vampires were all a sparkle, everybody thought that was the biggest audience. So why not write for that audience? Why not write vampires? Sparkly, hunky vampires. So everybody was writing vampires. And then, of course, came The Walking Dead. Those of us who were writing zombies before The Walking Dead saw a deluge of writers writing about zombies. Why? Because they saw this massive audience, this massive attentive audience who could not get enough of the undead. Next thing you know, there's a godzillion amount of writers out there working in the genre that we all knew and loved. What happens next? Well, that's pretty obvious. What happens is there's a million new books in the zombie genre. Maybe not a million, but close. None of us can be seen because we're buried in this avalanche of books. And trends, they come and they go. We've been fortunate that the zombie trend has continued on. I don't want to get into that with you, Muse, but the thing about it is, and what I want to say to you is that you have been, I'm very fortunate to have this relationship with you, because you work with me in such a way that you don't care about the trends. You really don't. And I'm thankful for that. I'm writing along something, whatever I'm writing at the time, and next thing I know, bam! You hit me upside the head with an idea. And that idea doesn't follow any current trend or fad. It's just an idea. It's your idea. My muse gives me an idea that has nothing to do with what anything anyone is writing at the time. But still, it's an idea from that thing with which I trust. I have entrusted you with my creativity. So when you give me an idea for something, I am emboldened to listen to it. It is my prerogative to listen to what you have to say. And so, over the last few years, when you and I developed this really tight relationship, because we tight, man, we tight. When we developed this relationship, I realized that I had to stop looking over here to see what was fashionable, what was chic, as it were, and look here and say, this is my art. This is my craft. This is my muse who fuels my craft. So maybe it's better that I focus on that and write to this, and to this, and to this. I'm going to give you a little analogy, Muse. One that's related to my past life. Really, like new agey past life, my literal past life. Back when I was working with Stage One, when I first started working with Stage One, which was the Children's Theater, whom Moses Goldberg, who was often considered the father of children's theater in this country, when I was working under him, one of the single most important things he ever said to me, as an actor, especially in children's theater, is that if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, the audience won't enjoy it. And that advice has stuck with me since the moment he said it. And I have applied it to everything that I have done. And I cannot begin to describe to you how important that bit of advice is to the craft of writing. If I'm not enjoying what I write, the audience won't enjoy what I write. And I'm not going to enjoy writing to the trends. And so, I have found over the years that the single most important audience that I can find is you. Because you're the one that gives me the ideas. Now, I don't want that to sound elitist in any way, shape, or form. Because I think anybody that knows me, any reader that has ever interacted with me in any way, be it physically or on Facebook or email or whatever, they know how much I love them and respect them. And they are so important to me. And they are so important to me that I want to make sure that I'm always giving them something that they can enjoy. And to do that, I have to enjoy it. And to do that, I have to not worry about writing to the audience. I have to write to you and to me. And that's just my advice. That's just my way of doing things. And I know that there are plenty of writers out there who are writing to their audience, who have found their audience and writing to them and doing a great job, finding great success. But for me, this is my art. And my art is a sacred thing. And to keep it sacred, I have to not follow the trends. I have to follow my heart, and my mind, my soul, and my muse. And that's why I relate it to you, Muse. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. And that's all I have to say right now. Because I have a book to finish. We have a book to finish. Anyway, thank you, Muse. Thank you, Muse. Thank you, Muse.